Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, my YouTube channel. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today for you I have another Skies of Ace Combat video. Today I'm going to be talking about the Sukhoi Su-34. Another one of those newer planes from Russia, although interestingly enough, the design is actually older than I expected when I was doing my research of this plane, but it is just a more recent plane to enter service. The Su-34 is a twin-seat, twin-engine, medium-range, supersonic fighter bomber, although it does kind of have some multi-role capabilities to it. The NATO reporting name for the Su-34 is Fullback. As an interesting feature, it has side-by-side seating similar to the A6 versus tandem seating like the F-15 Strike Eagle, which I did find interesting. Now, the plane that this replaced, which is the Su-24, also had side-by-side seating, and the development of the Su-34 would actually begin in the mid-1980s. It would incorporate a whole host of conflicting requirements, though, for the new plane. So the Bureau developing the Su-34 would select the Su-27K as the base because it offered excellent mobility, good range, as well as it could carry a large payload of ordnance. However, due to the fall of the Soviet Union, development of the new plane would be slowed and even suspended at times. A few early prototypes were built, and flight tests would also take place. And finally, the first Su-34 was produced and made its maiden flight December 28th of 1994. However, funding would keep holding the development back pretty much. Even though they would continue doing test flight, they just were not really getting funding to continue the research and development of the Su-34. That being said, though, the Su-34 would enter production, with the initial 8 being completed in 2004. Over time, more aircraft would be produced, and it is believed that approximately right now 200 Su-34s are in service. There is also an upgrade program to modernize the Su-34. The Su-34M was signed for production officially in 2021, so this is the Su-34M is the production standard now. That being said, the version of the Su-34 we have in Ace Combat is just a Su-34. All these upgrades expands the EW capabilities as well as its uses as a bomber. The upgrading was focused around mostly upgrading the radar, the sights, and the communication system of the Su-34. It is said that the Su-34 performed its combat debut in the 2008 Russo-Georgian War. However, I was personally unable to confirm that. I looked at multiple sources, and basically all the sources looked like it was nothing more than a rumor. But I also don't want to ignore it either, because there seems to be a lot of sources that suggest, yes, this was used in 2008 in Georgia. The Su-34 also took part in the 2015 intervention in Syria, and it is currently taking part in the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Although it has been reported that some Su-34s have been shot down by Ukrainian forces. The means of the various Su-34s that have been shot down, though, has not been fully disclosed. Some of them have not been disclosed at all. The Su-34 is crewed by 2 people. You have a pilot, and then you pretty much have a Wizzo. I don't know what the term is for the Russian Air Force, but it is, United States, we call him a Wizzo. It's the weapons systems officer. The Su-34 is 76 feet, 7 inches long. That's 23.34 meters for my non-American audience. It is actually a quite long plane, although part of that has to do with the tail that it has. It's got that SU-27 tail that you're typically used to seeing, like you see it on the Su-30s. You see them on the Su-35. The Su-27 had it. Actually, I think even the Su-57 has it. It has a wingspan of 48 feet, 3 inches. That's 14.7 meters, once again for my non-American audience. And the height of the plane is 20 foot even. That is 6.09 meters. The Su-34 is powered by 2 Saturn AL-31 FM1 engines. This seems to be a quite common engine for Russian services, the Russian Air Force planes. The Su-34 is armed with a 30mm Gish 30-1 autocannon. Once again, quite common. Seems like a lot of the different Soviet aircraft. I don't know why I keep calling them Soviet. It's not Soviet now, is it? But Russian aircraft, it's a quite common autocannon for Russian aircraft. It has a total of 12 hardpoints that can carry various air-to-air, air-to-surface, and anti-ship missiles. It can also be armed with cruise missiles and bombs as well. Now this is I'm kind of using this in an odd position. I'm not really using it properly. I'm kind of using it right now more like you would use an A6 intruder, where you would do low, fast, attack runs. And looking at it, I think actually the Su-57 the Su-34, God, there's so many Su planes out there. The Su-34, I think, is actually more like the F-15 Strike Eagle. That being said, no matter which way you look at it, what I'm doing works in ace combat, because it's ace combat. It's not the real world. I don't think I'd recommend using the plane like this if you were playing, I don't know, DCS. I don't know if this plane is in DCS, but whatever. Or maybe some other game that could feature the Su-34. And the thing I find interesting is, like I said, the side-by-side seating. I didn't even know there was any fighter-style aircraft that had side-by-side seating anymore. I thought they were all gone at this point, because I'm pretty sure like the F-111 is out of service. There might still be some Su-24s in service, but I thought most of those were retired by now. And essentially everything that the United States has built over the years has been tandem seating. And even Russia has a few tandem seating planes as well. So it's just odd to me to see a side-by-side seat fighter-style plane. And even though this plane, looking at the specs and everything else, even though the plane is an older plane that just recently entered service, it does seem like it's still a fairly capable plane. And I could see this actually being in service for a while yet, even with the 5th generation fighters entering service. And that being said, the 5th generation stuff has been expanding, but with what role this plane is meant for and how you could use this plane, I don't think that's really going to affect the service life all that much of the Su-34. But anyway, folks, that's it for me today. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and have yourself a wonderful day.